Join me as I dive deep into the haunting last hours of Jeff Buckley and try to piece together the tragic story that unfolded. Jeff Buckley was a talented musician whose life was tragically cut short, leaving behind a legacy that still resonates with music lovers today. His story is a powerful reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of untreated emotional pain. Jeff Buckley's final days were marked by intense emotional and psychological struggles. He was fighting a losing battle against depression, anxiety, and the pressure of fame. The weight of his own expectations, coupled with the loss of his mother and the end of a tumultuous relationship, had taken a devastating toll on his mental health. His music, once a source of solace and comfort, had become a constant reminder of his own vulnerabilities. Buckley was trapped in a world of darkness, where the lights of his talent and creativity were slowly fading away. As the days went by, Buckley's struggles only intensified. He became increasingly reclusive, pushing away his friends and loved ones. His music, once a reflection of his innermost thoughts and feelings, had become a distant memory. The pain and despair that had once fueled his creativity now consumed him, leaving him a shell of his former self. Buckley was lost, and he didn't know how to find his way back. The pressure of fame had taken a devastating toll on Buckley's mental health. He was living in a world where he was constantly bombarded with expectations, criticisms, and comparisons. The constant scrutiny had eroded his confidence, leaving him feeling vulnerable and exposed. Buckley was torn between his desire for authenticity and the need to conform to the expectations of his record label and fans. In the days leading up to his disappearance, Buckley's behavior became increasingly erratic. He was seen wandering the streets of Memphis, talking to himself, and displaying signs of extreme paranoia. His friends and loved ones were worried sick, but they didn't know how to intervene. Buckley was a ticking time bomb, and nobody knew when he would explode. Buckley's last performance was a poignant testament to his fragile state of mind. He played with an intensity and passion that was both mesmerizing and heartbreaking. It was as if he knew that he was running out of time, and he was pouring his heart and soul into every note, every chord, and every lyric. The performance was a desperate cry for help, a plea for someone to intervene and save him from himself. In the hours leading up to his disappearance, Buckley's interactions with his friends were laced with a sense of foreboding. He was distant, detached, and preoccupied, as if he was already gone. His friends tried to reassure him, to tell him that everything would be okay, but Buckley knew better. He knew that he was standing on the edge of a precipice, and he didn't know how to step back. On the fateful night of May 29, 1997, Buckley went for a walk along the Wolf River, and he never came back. The news of his disappearance sent shockwaves around the world, leaving his fans and loved ones in a state of numb disbelief. The search for Buckley was a frantic and desperate effort, but it was too little, too late. His body was found on June 4, 1997, and the music world was left to mourn the loss of a brilliant talent. The critical moment when Buckley went missing was a turning point in the lives of those who knew and loved him. It was a moment of unimaginable shock, grief, and regret. His loved ones were left to pick up the pieces of a shattered dream, to try and make sense of the senseless. The impact of Buckley's disappearance was like a ripple effect, spreading far and wide, and leaving behind a trail of devastation. The immediate reactions to Buckley's disappearance were a mix of shock, grief, and disbelief. His friends and loved ones were numb, unable to comprehend the magnitude of their loss. The news of his death was like a punch to the gut, leaving them breathless and reeling. The music world was in mourning, and the fans were left to grieve the loss of a talent that had been taken too soon. As we look back on the tragic events surrounding Buckley's last hours, we are left with more questions than answers. We are left to wonder what might have been, if only he had received the help he so desperately needed. We are left to mourn the loss of a brilliant talent, and to reflect on the devastating consequences of untreated emotional pain. In the end, Jeff Buckley's story is a poignant reminder of the importance of reaching out, of seeking help, and of taking care of our mental health. It's a story that should inspire us to be more compassionate, more empathetic, and more understanding. So, take a moment to reflect on your own life, and the lives of those around you. Reach out to someone who may be struggling, and let them know that you care. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any thoughts about Jeff Buckley's life and music, please share them in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about the tragedy of rock stars who died too young, be sure to check out our next video.